Hey guys, welcome back to Rice Camera Action. I'm your host as always, Jeff Gadet. Today I'm joined with a comedy buddy of mine. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Hojip Jeon. I live in Seoul, Korea.
Yep.
That's a lie, actually. I live in Gyeonggi-do, somewhere up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in marketing and I do comedy with Jeff from time to time.
Yeah, so I wanted to get his feel. Like he's recently just come to Korea, and I've seen him a couple times. Him and I haven't had a lot of interaction with each other, but I wanted to invite him here today to give his experience and what he thinks about actually the comedy scene in Korea.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell everyone a little bit about your experience? Like, so where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Korea, but I lived around a lot.
Yeah.
My dad moved us around a lot. I lived in Japan for about 10 years. I lived
Okay.
in Shanghai for about 6 years.
Okay, so
And then I went to the States for college.
yeah.
So here and there.
Oh wow. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I just thought you were like from Chicago. I thought you were like a full
no.
Kyopo. No.
No. Straight out of here. But I think Korean is still second strongest language.
Okay, it's just
Yeah.
second strong language. Wait, so
The earliest I can remember learning anything was English.
okay.
But I just spoke Korean at home.
Okay.
Because we're at home.
Okay. Yeah, because like I also like on your Facebook or your Instagram, there's like pictures of you doing like in LA doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I visited, I went to international school. So I had friends go out all over the country in the States after college.
Yeah.
And so the good thing is that I could visit them
Mm-hmm.
and I have a place to stay wherever I go.
Okay.
But then once I started doing comedy,
Yeah.
I made it like a mission to try to do it in as many different places as possible.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I want to ask you about that. So when did you first start doing comedy? How long ago?
First starting doing it was 2021
Okay.
August.
Okay. August.
Yeah, when after COVID kind of simmered down,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was doing an internship in Korea. I came back home mid semester because
Okay.
school was like, you gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was doing an internship in Korea, and then the internships finished. So I went back, and then I think it was after COVID
Yeah.
where I was like, or it was during COVID. Where
Yeah.
I was like, there's not enough time.
Okay.
This is like,
So this is almost 2.5 years ago.
yeah, 2.5 years ago.
And where was your first mic?
In Bloomington, Indiana, where I went
Okay.
to school.
Okay.
And the scene there is pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty famous. One famous club there in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started there, and I think it was a good place to start because it was a small community, kind of like
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Oh.
But
That's breaking my heart.
Just the size is like this.
Yeah,
but
right.
There's much more, because we all got cars. And
Yeah.
we can drive around down to Kentucky. We can drive to Chicago to do different mics. So
Okay, cool. So yeah, it's been 2.5 years. Now you're working in Seoul, right?
Yeah.
And marketing. But then you're also keeping busy doing stand-up comedy too. Like
Yeah.
I think you're hitting like 3 mics a week or so.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I think, oh man, before this job that I just recently got,
Yeah.
I had a lot more time.
Yeah.
But now that I'm working at an agency,
Yeah.
reality's hitting that you don't have time. Also,
Yeah.
because I live like an hour away from my office.
Okay.
So once I get home, it's already 8:30. And
Okay.
then I eat dinner, and then
Right.
I already have to go to sleep, or else the next day I can't wake up.
Yeah, like right now, like I'm hosting my open mic and it's on a Thursday, but people don't want.
I can't go
I
to that
know.
one.
No, I'm not trying to bully you or anything.
No. I don't feel that at all. But
No,
I
like-
want to make it. But yeah, if I make that,
Yeah.
I was so committed when I was in Chicago.
Yeah.
Just because I was a walking distance from everything.
Right,
So,
yeah.
And there's so many mics,
Yeah, exactly.
but
Chicago
here-
is probably like, I would say maybe number 4.
I think
maybe?
3 or 4. Yeah.
Well, like
I want to say in terms of quality, number 2.
in the States, I would say. Well,
States.
New York. I would say New York 1. So that's my.
Yeah.
That's my. That's.
And then let's say number 2 at the same time. 1, 2, 3, Chicago.
Oh, I would say.
See, why Austin?
Well, that's where everyone's going now.
Yeah, but
too.
all the celebrities are going there.
And,
But,
they have, like-
peasants are still not in Austin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the celebrities going there, but then they're also opening up a lot of clubs, and then LA, then Chicago. I'd give you Chicago.
You know what? I always had a thing for LA, like
Right.
Hollywood. And I went there, and the most disappointing thing was you got to pay for your minutes. You have
Right.
to Venmo the host $5 for 5 minutes. I was like, what?
In LA?
Yeah. And I was like, we already don't have money.
Yeah.
What are you trying to take? This is also gonna cycle back. You're
Well,
just stealing money from the people who borrowed money from you.
well, these people are just, yeah, they're struggling actors and they're just doing something so they can survive, I guess. But they're like paying $5 to like
For 5 minutes?
to bomb for 5 minutes.
In a room where it's all just comics, maybe six
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, it's like a coffee. Some of them I've heard are just coffee shops.
Yeah,
So you have a grinder that happens in the background halfway through, stepping on your punchlines.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I heard a lot of things about LA, the differences between LA and New York. And the biggest thing is, what's your objective? Like, if you want to do comedy, you go to New York.
Yeah.
If you want to do acting, you go to LA. And I
Yeah.
think I've seen that because we have visiting comics from both sides of the coast coming to Chicago.
Yeah.
And the ones that come to LA, I've seen them on Netflix.
Mhm.
And the ones that come from New York,
Yeah.
I just see them on tour all the time.
Right. Like there are like strong comics that come out of Chicago. Like Hannibal Buress was one of them, but then he just like
Yeah. Kumail.
Kumail. But like they ended up just going to New York because that's
Exactly.
where the money is.
Exactly.
Right. But yeah, so yeah, but my dream would be to go to New York. To New York. Yeah, I don't want to do LA. God damn.
But you're an actor. Don't you want to do
there's-
acting?
You know, there's CSI. There was CSI New York too. There's others. So and I'm like, I also like, I've never been to New York, and I've been to LA, and I hate. It was kind of just.
I don't like LA.
Yeah, I don't like LA. But so like I would try New York or I would try if I didn't have enough money, I'd go to Austin.
Right.
Yeah.
But in terms of acting,
Yeah.
Jeffy, from your perspective, are you more of a quantity over quality guy in terms of opportunities?
Right
Or
now,
vice versa?
when I first started here, geez, now you're interviewing me.
Here we go. Table turn.
Okay, yeah. The interviewee becomes the interviewer. And when I first started here, it was more about quantity because it was just trying to get out there and like trying to get my name and like my face out there.
Yeah.
But now I'm shifted more to the quality.
Yeah.
So like people this is what happens. Can you do like a background work?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 9 hours for $150. You have to wake up at
What?
6 out like 6 a.m. And I'm like, no. That's because they're just looking for a blank foreigner in the background.
Yeah.
So, but I have kind of a leg up on some of the actors here because it's a mixed culture. Like half the people aren't even native English speakers.
Yeah.
So because I'm a native English speaker, I can get like the speaking.
Yeah, you
role.
can tell when you watch Surprise. They're all, hey,
Yeah.
what are you doing here?
Like, my name is Tony.
Yeah.
I'm from Brooklyn. Go the Yankees.
Go the Yankees.
Go the Yankees. But yeah, so
How long did you have to do all those shitty
it's
roles
so
until you had a leg up against
I
him?
did do Surprise. That's the thing. Surprise was my foot in the door, but it really actually tarnished my reputation in the beginning.
Why?
Oh, well, I think I've said this, but like when I first started and I did Surprise for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then like there was actually right before COVID, they were filming a couple movies. One was like Space Sweepers, and the other one was like about like a sci-fi.
Yeah.
And then the other one was about the first Korean marathon runner. And again, I was like kind of like struggling. I was just trying to get work so I can eat. And then I ended up doing like background for Space Sweepers. And like the production team's like, "Oh, Jeff, hey, you're here. Oh, we're surprised you're doing like the background." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, well, I never got you guys told me that I was up for some roles, but you never got back to me." And like, "Oh, that sucks." And then someone whispered like surprise.
Yeah.
And like going, "Oh, fuck. Is that what caused me not to get the roles? Because I was on Surprise." So I was like contemplating like giving it up. But then I also had a friend of mine that had just started doing Surprise 2 months before. He got cast in the Boston Marathon.
Oh, that
movie.
The movie.
Yeah, Boston, yeah. Boston, I think it was like 1941 or something. But
The Korean movie.
yeah, the Korean movie.
Yeah,
These are Korean movies.
The one that recently came out.
Yeah, just in 2023 summer.
Yeah.
So he got cast for that, and he was. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to get in trouble. But he got like in the plot. he was cast as a crucial character.
Yeah,
And like so, and they couldn't really remove him because it's a part of like the storyline.
Yeah.
So like, and like they shot with him. Then they actually filmed the whole running scene.
Yeah.
They had to go to Australia to film that, and then when they came back and like they were in like post production,
yeah.
the director saw my
Completely-
friend
oh.
on Surprise.
And remove them?
No, he called my friend on Surprise. Then the director called the casting agent. Then the casting agent called my friend, going, "Hey, why didn't you tell us you were on Surprise?"
Yeah.
Like the director, like they're filming it. All the filming's done. They have
Yeah,
no more money,
post-production.
and like and like they're putting everything together. And there you are, surprised because they're trying. They want to have for movies mostly. They want to show that they're hiring like quality
Yeah.
quality talent.
Yeah.
And having someone on Surprise,
Yeah,
which is seen as the lowest of the low,
Yeah.
kind of.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
I can
they didn't have any more money. I think they went.
Sheesh.
So that like hearing that story from him, I'm like, well, I got to get out. And then COVID, I think actually erased a lot of that stuff. But now actually, Surprise is doing reruns, like they're doing
Yeah.
like themes, and sometimes I get my friends send me pictures. I go, "Hey, look, you're on Surprise today." I'm like, "Motherfucker, fuck."
Do they pay you for the reruns?
No.
It's a one-time thing.
It's a one-time thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's no like yearly like
Yeah.
restitutions or whatever the word is for that. But getting back, so now you're
Yeah.
getting back to you. Now that you've heard my
Wow,
story.
we don't have any interactions. It's the only time we can actually have a conversation.
No, so it's we don't have a lot of interaction. This is my fault too because right now I picked a fight with a friend of mine, Fernando. He runs Duck Dagati comedy. And I'm now in contact with him, and I'm apologizing for my behavior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to like.
I didn't know
it's-
this.
Well, like I've talked to him. Like
Yeah.
I sent him a message
Yeah.
at New Year's, apologizing and calling myself stubborn, and that I want to actually come, maybe have a sit
Yeah.
down and apologize to him. And then you actually had a comedy show last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like so, like
2 weeks ago.
I ran the
You
door,
ran the door.
and like Fernando was running the
sound.
sound, but him and I just like
Conversation?
we didn't have a conversation, but we like shook hands and then we said, "Hey, how's
nice.
it going?" So I'm it's baby step.
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah, but yeah, it really affects the community, and it's my fault too. Like I'm in the wrong for what I did to like what I said to him. Yeah. But I have to figure out the words, and I'm gonna message him maybe that around the holiday I can sit there.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I
kind
don't
of get
have
back
the
in the
details, I just know
I
that you guys had
want to get
beef.
back in the with the community. Yeah, it's really hurt it too because it seems like some people don't want to play favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Because
just
it's a small community.
it's a small community, so I heard it. But what do you think about the community, the stand-up Seoul, the comedy?
I think it's a beginning of something big, and I think I'm really excited because I think the people, the bigger people involved, like Chris, Steve, you, Kristen, Fernando. I think we saw that we can capitalize on this English scene. You know,
Right.
the English scene was kind of just a setback for a long time. I heard, you know, it really wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah,
But-
ups and downs. It's
Yeah.
always,
But now we know it's working, I think.
Mhm.
And I think that we've gotten some recognition from different places. So
okay.
I'm excited to help
Cool.
help
cool.
it
Yeah.
take off. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to join the community, and yeah.
Yeah.
I was a bad person for a year, and stubborn is the word. But so like actually, can you are you just doing, because we are in Korea, and we're talking. I only do
Yeah,
the
yeah.
English stand up. Have you dipped your toe in Korean stand up
Dude,
yet?
I'm so bad.
Right?
I'm so bad at it. I'm good at, every time I think I'm decent in
Mhm.
Korean and I get the spotlight for something,
Yeah.
I just shit on it real bad. I don't know what it is. It's just not the same with English because comedy, I started it in English.
Yeah.
And I grew up speaking English, so I
Yeah.
think of everything in English.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to comedy.
Yeah.
Like not even verbal stuff, just moments as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different. It's a cultural thing. And I'm still trying to grasp the Korean, what's funny in Korea. Like,
Okay.
yeah, the culture of it. Because it's kind of anti-comedy in a sense.
Yeah.
It's not really irony. It's not
Well,
really,
so I started doing comedy in Seoul in 2019. And this was right before the pandemic. And the English scene was much stronger than the Korean scene.
yeah.
And even the style, like they weren't the Korean stand up. It was more like a one person show. There was no jokes, just
It's all
storytelling.
really one-liners too. That's what
Yeah, just more character and storytelling. Like I remember going to like a comedy show, and the guy said that he was a comedian, but he was more famous from the show Gag Concert,
yeah.
so sketch comedy. But he basically was just telling the story how his parents were disappointed because he never got into the proper school. And then even like, when he tried to do comedy, he struggled at the very beginning. But then one time, like he finally wrote this funny thing, and he got a standing ovation. And then he looked in the crowd, and there was his parents, and it was more like overcoming adversity,
Like a TED Talk.
yeah, like a TED talk. Yeah. So it's but it's like okay, where's the joke? Where's the setup? Where's the punchline?
Yeah.
But I think what happened during the pandemic, because everyone was at home, they started watching a lot of stand-up on Netflix or Facebook with the subtitles, and they saw the Western style is setup, misdirection, and punchline, and now like they're kind of like slowly getting to that.
I think what really grew it was just because the viewership of 개그 콘서트 and 우차사, those things all went down.
Yeah,
And people started being funny on YouTube
yeah,
in different styles of comedy. And
Yeah.
I think the same thing that happened in the States, when YouTube started really blowing up, I think that happened in Korea recently. And now people are like, oh, we can just be funny on our own terms.
Yeah.
We don't have to apply like it's a corporate job
right.
and join this.
Well, yeah, because
company.
like YouTube killed Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Because Comedy Central, they were producing all these specials for people, but because it's on television, there's censorship,
Yeah.
and it's not. And then all the comedians just like going, "Oh, I don't need Comedy Central to promote me.
I can just put it up on myself.
I could put it on Facebook and I could also plug my concerts, Comedy Central, my shows. Comedy Central doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And just Comedy Central just disappeared.
But dude, I really respect and admire the Korean comedians right now that I know. Some of the, I would call them my acquaintances because I'm
Yeah.
not really friendly with them,
Okay.
but I want to be. But
Yeah.
I think they grind just as hard as the friends I met in the States,
Okay.
if not more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think just the amount of spots I see them performing at around Seoul. I didn't even know that there were that many venues
Yeah.
to do comedy
Yeah.
in Seoul, but then they keep popping up in different spots. And I think
Yeah.
this is definitely growing in Korean.
What we need to do too is get those spots too, and try to sneak our English shows
I
into
agree.
there. Yeah,
I
but
agree.
right now we're in Sinchon. I'm like, this is where I hang out, and but I'm like, there's not really a lot of good places here. Like, I wish I could pull people because there's lots of university students, international university.
Yeah.
But there's not a really good stage, or most of the places are just bars, and you want more of a venue with seating and an elevated stage.
Yeah, I heard that you kind of want to look for like a jazz bar where they have a whole sound system.
Yeah.
That's the easiest place to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to get into the whole producing stuff, but man,
It's a headache.
it's busy.
Yeah,
so
and
much
plus you have work, too.
so much work.
Yeah. But so but also there's the problem with English comedy here is because there's so many, you go to the LA, there's the LA style, New York style, then you have British style,
Yeah.
and then you have the alt comedy style.
Yeah.
But here it's just amalgamation. So some of the shows it'll have different types, and I sometimes get worried about the flow, having maybe a vulgar comic next to an alt comic next to an English second language comic.
Yeah.
There's that. What do you think?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, definitely, especially for a crowd that's not used to it yet.
Yeah.
or they haven't seen a lot,
Yeah.
and then they get bombarded by those different types of comedy,
Yeah.
humor. Definitely can throw off the consistency, but
Yeah.
it's all part of the
Yeah. Well,
growth, man.
well, you think like again, I'm gonna just like the comedy store, right? You
Yeah.
have all the headliners, and basically these people kill,
Yeah.
but they all have like similar thoughts and similar styles.
I think, yeah, but I think Chris
Chris
James
James,
said this earlier or last week.
yeah,
But a lot of people here are really concerned about, God, I gotta come with new stuff
yeah,
every week,
right,
and it's not even half baked.
yeah,
And yeah, I don't know about you, but in the beginning, I also wanted to be like, oh, I always want to come up with new stuff and be like this fresh insight guy. But I did that maybe 3 times, and then I was like, I'm going nowhere. I'm not
Yeah.
even breaking the ice.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I just stopped really. I really just stopped caring.
Yeah.
And
So what do you think
Double
more
down.
like having multiple locations so you can actually work on
that would definitely help.
that like that same material, but trying it in 3 different places?
That would definitely help. That's how
Yeah.
that's how a lot of people in the States grow. But I
Yeah.
think you also have to be able to adapt with what you have. Like with right now, we just have the Apgujeong. I treat the one in Gyeongnidan. I really treat that's literally a showcase. So I really
Yeah.
try to prepare as much as I can for that one. And I don't really, unless I'm the host, I don't really want to have fun.
Yeah, so right now, like Hojip, Chris James, and Kristen,
And Steve.
and Steve. Oh yeah, sorry, Steve. They're doing it the last Friday of every month. You've had how many shows so
We've
far?
had 3 so far.
3 so far, and then there's one at the end of this month.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so yeah. So I think we need more showcases too. But
Showcases for sure, but I think before that, before that we just need more venues so people can go. But then at the same time, the big difference here in the States is that you can see it in the Korean comedy scene.
Okay.
Like they want to do this for a living.
Yeah.
They're literally taking time off. They're literally not working 2-3 jobs.
Yeah.
So they can do this at night.
so they could fit their
Yeah, which is the same way in the States. A lot
Yeah.
of a lot of the friends I know are doing minimum wage jobs.
Yeah.
So they can have this time to work on comedy. So they can do that. But then the people we know are all adults and they all have their own jobs and families. So
yeah.
it's not,
Well, like I think that's like the time we're living in right now too, because a lot of people are doing work, can do their job from home, and like
Yeah.
they only have to go to the office twice a day. So the Koreans can do like they could focus more on the comedy too, because they have a regular they have a regular job and just in Korea, but us we're here like well I'm here and like all the other people we mentioned. We're here as like foreign workers, so we
Right.
have the 9 to 5. Like if we could have done our job from home,
Yeah,
they wouldn't have brought us here.
the legality thing too
Yeah.
is a big barrier thing. One thing that I experienced as well as a foreigner in the States
Yeah.
doing comedy was that I think I couldn't just skimp out
Yeah,
and then just go on like a weekend trip to do like a mini tour or whatever. Which I really, it bummed me out. If only I had a car, then I could have really pushed myself to do
Okay.
more venues per week. But, yeah, before showcases, I just really think we need more venues and we need more. I think what I never give anyone advice just because I don't think I'm at the position to. But
Yeah.
I would really like to encourage people to not just do the same joke every time just
Yeah.
because we don't only have 2 venues,
yeah,
but just listen back to it, like, audio record it, listen back to it and kind of think like, oh, I should have said that instead.
right.
And just, try that. I think I heard Joe List say that.
Yeah. Like I listened to a lot of the advice from our peers, like Norman, Ari Shafir, Ralphie May.
Oh, there are peers.
Well, Ralphie, rest in peace. Like Ralphie was given, like he has on YouTube, like a hour and a half advice just for comedies. Like, and he was just like, right.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. But also, like, yeah, writing. So you started in the States, correct?
Yeah.
And then now, do you think now that you're in Korea, like some of your material is more focused on Korean lifestyle, or are you still like doing it as what?
Yeah, man, I don't know. I try to be. My favorite comic is Louis C.K.
Okay.
just because of his philosophy.
Yeah.
About how he takes out the most
What's that
mundane,
idiot?
the mundane stuff in life,
Yeah.
and how he can just expand on it and elaborate it.
Yeah.
And I really like that sort of thought as
Yeah.
well. So once I realized that I'm getting too tunneled into one specific culture,
Yeah.
one specific tradition, I try to take a step back.
I think Louis is a great example because I think he's the one that like kickstarted the whole like my doing jokes about his kids and like that he's a bad father, like a dirty father.
Dude,
and
he did that for like 5 years,
Yeah.
right? Just a whole stretch of
like just talking about his daughters and now like you have now like Bert. That's basically now what Bert does is just how he's a bad father.
yeah.
But yeah, for me, like, so I was home last year. This is why I wanted to ask. I was home last year, and like what I'm finding now for me is I like writing. It's hard for me not to write about Korea because this is what I experience all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't escape that.
But then when I went back to Toronto and I was at Yuck Yucks and the comedy bar, tried to do jokes that I've been working on here about Korea,
And it didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
people need to relate. They have
yeah,
to.
they need to relate. Like they allowed me to do also I got 2 minutes like with the crowd.
Yeah, which
But then the crowd started to switch on me.
Yeah.
Because they're like going, hey, white guy, why are you doing jokes about Asia? That's what Asian people, the Asian comics in the show are gonna do.
Yeah.
Like they relate to it. They can really pitch it.
Yeah, I agree though. But
Have you experienced that?
I did experience that. I think it like stuff about also being a foreigner, talking about my experiences in America definitely got more reaction because the crowd was learning something new. Maybe.
This is in the States?
Yeah, this is in the States.
Okay.
So if I talked about like how Asian parents are, but then talk about it how it's really similar to white parents. It's just minor differences. And just try to highlight those differences. Those would kind of get laughs. But if you do that here, not really, because all the Asians have the same parents, and it's kind of overdone, really, I think.
Yeah, I have actually witnessed that happening. There was a Korean comic that came here, and yeah, his jokes were like having Asian parents or like growing up as as an Asian and like being the minority.
Yeah.
And people like going, I have that experience already.
Exactly.
I've had these thoughts. You're not opening up a new door. You're not shining light on
if you do the same, if you do what's been done,
right.
Yeah, I don't think it works anywhere. I think a new angle always needs to happen. I don't know. When I write, I don't really sit down and write. Do you sit down and write?
No, like I have ideas and then like I have my notebook and I'll just write an idea.
Yeah.
And then I try to
whenever you think of it, right?
Yeah, and like I have now like 5 books going.
Oh shit.
No, like I've like maybe like filled up like 20%, but then like I leave it at home and then I have an idea. I'm like, shit, I have to get a book. Yeah. So it's always, and like I try to revisit it. And half the time, like a year later, I'll do it. If I have an idea, I'll try to do that with that week for like the 5 minutes. And then I'll try it. Maybe I'll try it again a month later, but then I'll sit on it I won't use it for a year.
Yeah.
And but now when I'm going back to this stuff, I'm like going, oh, this is garbage.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Yeah, I always think that.
I'm like going, what the thing? And then sometimes like it's even like in my book, there's ideas that I wrote, but I'm like, it was in the moment and I was like kind of drunk. So I'm like going, what was I fucking thinking?
I'm a fucking loser.
Like going, this is not funny at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do that too. I read back at what I wrote. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Who's gonna laugh at this?
Like I looked at a note that I wrote a month ago and I was like going like, I think accountants like are the worst, like the worst job. Like going, your job is doing other people's homework. Not math home. You've made a career out of doing people's math homework for taxes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny, but I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to use that.
Yeah, it's not really
Yeah. So you write do you like how much time do you actually spend maybe writing, or do you write?
Yeah, I do write. But time spent writing, I do the same thing. I really get ideas whenever I'm mid experience. Like for example, last week or a few weeks ago, I went to a musical with my girlfriend. She dragged me to a musical, and I was watching it, and the whole time, I'm like, this can just be a play,
Yeah.
and then there doesn't need to be any singing right now.
Yeah.
And it's always these low stake situations. It's
Right.
always like, hey, why didn't you text back? Now I'm really upset. It's like, just you could have texted them first.
Yeah.
And just the whole time I was thinking about that. And just that thought, I just wrote that thought down.
Yeah.
And then my biggest complaint about it, I think that's how I think. I think I'm a complaint comic.
Right.
I really talk about why I hate things, why I don't
What
like
grind?
things.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah. And then my goal before I ever put it to paper is just to have at least a punchline, a decent
Yeah.
punchline, or a period or an exclamation. So
Yeah.
I kind of know
Like, do you?
where the thought ends.
So something I noticed too, like with the comedian, like some of the people, they write the whole thing out, like verbatim the script, and they try to memorize that. Does that work?
No, I used to do that.
Yeah.
Like the first month I did
Yeah.
it, I thought that's how people did it. Because first of all, because really honestly, if you have no idea what to do, how to do it,
Yeah.
you're gonna think, oh, people are memorizing this shit.
Yeah.
But they're only memorizing it because they've done it like 500 times.
But yeah, they've done it 500 times. But yeah, people that write it out, they're always the ones that run the light.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they like.
And then once you forget one word, you're off.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I like to just write bullet points,
Yeah.
like what the main points of this joke
Yeah.
is, like what is it that I'm mad about, why it's weird, how it applies to some other situation, and yeah, whatever the punch that would be. But I like to put in those bullet points and then kind of just play around with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever make analogies, I always like to write new analogies to it, just add on to it.
Yeah, yeah. I do something similar. So I just do a bullet point and kind of I leave the opening and the ending like in the mid. I picture like the punchline in the middle.
Yeah.
But I try to keep the beginning and the end of that kind of idea very vague.
Yeah.
So then I could like sprinkle it in when I'm talking about different subjects, like, and then like like I might be talking about like body's dysmorphia and I have like a punchline for that, but then later on, like the next time I'm talking about religion,
Yeah.
but then because I left the beginning and the end of that punchline vague, I could still use that punchline in religion, but so I could find it different ways.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
run around.
Yeah, there's definitely, and I always end up writing about the same themes. Really,
Yeah.
it's always either about old people or my parents or
Yeah.
whatever happened at work, whatever. And then once I have like 3 or 4 jokes on the same theme,
Yep.
then I can kind of try to work on how to connect it together,
Yeah.
make it one full story.
Yeah.
So that helps thinking it.
Yeah,
in
like
that way.
I picture it like brainstorming and just like spider webs, so I could go a
Exactly.
different way. It's not
Yeah.
linear. It's
No. Yeah.
it's
But
cyclical.
it's only 3 years into it. I'm still learning.
Oh no, they say this is like the best time for comedians because this is like your mind is still trying to figure out who you are and your character.
Yeah. I always wanted to. Like I always remember when I was young, the first thing I remember I wanted to do was become a comedian because I watched Russell Peters.
Okay.
I grew up watching Russell Peters a lot,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I want to do this.
That was actually the first comedian I saw live and like
Oh, that's because you're Canadian.
yeah, I'm Canadian and I saw him like when I was like 17 years old. And this was
In
before,
Toronto, or
just outside of Toronto. This was like so the Toronto comedy, the most popular one in Canada is a chain called like Yuck Yucks.
yeah.
So like it started off in Toronto, but then they have different venues in different places. Like I think like
Montreal probably.
Montreal, Vancouver, but yeah, like there was a small one in this place called Ajax, which. And I went there, and my friend lived there, so his parents took us there. And this was even before Russell Peters had like exploded.
Yeah.
He was just a small touring comedian in Canada,
Yeah.
and he was just doing the Yuck Yucks. He hadn't gone to the States yet.
Is he doing like 30 minutes?
Yeah, he did the 30 minutes. He was like the closer.
Nice.
But yeah, I remember hearing him like doing a joke, and like it's like about his Indian father.
Yeah.
And about like barbecuing and
Oh, I know that joke.
yeah, about barbecue. And like when I heard that, like a bunch of years later, like I see him on like Just for Laughs, and doing that same joke. Like, oh fuck, I saw that before.
Yeah.
He's been working.
It's the one where the rice falls to the
Yeah,
girl,
he's like,
right?
yeah, kind of. Yeah. So yeah, that one. I couldn't remember like the setup, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's like his father's like, I don't
It's
know.
about how his dad tries so hard to be a Canadian,
Yeah.
and he does barbecues, but he still cooks Asian shit with
Yeah,
it.
he's like, but he keeps falling through the.
No, but yeah, so I grew up watching him, and so I really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And my goal was always to make people laugh because
Yeah.
I wasn't, tall or good looking or
Yeah.
athletic at all.
Yeah.
So that was my goal, and then I wanted to do that for a long time, but I was always scared to be on stage because I always thought, once you're up there to be funny, that's the expectation.
Yeah.
What happens if you're not funny? And so
Yeah.
that was the whole fear. And then COVID happened, and I was like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
So I went up, and then, but I'm glad went up when I did.
Yeah.
Because I think that was when like you said, I kind of knew who I was, at least 90% of it. So I had that confidence. I had that, I don't care if people don't laugh. I know I'm not the funniest guy, but I'm still, trying to be funny in a smart way. I hope.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how about like, what do you think about crowd work too? Like you've dipped your toe too in like hosting. Is your crowd work good?
I think so.
Right.
I think my crowd work though is just making fun of the crowd, which is what it really is, right?
Yeah.
I think. I don't know, man. I think I don't want to call it a crutch because it's definitely useful, and I love interacting with people in the crowd, but half the time I'm also like I gotta work on some of my jokes.
Yeah, it's so some people are trying to work on their crowd work and like one, but you're okay. Like,
Yeah, I don't get that too, and this is just me personally. I don't get on I gotta work on my crowd work because I don't know. Just to me, just making fun of people, it's like easy. I think
that's also because like a lot of people see the New York style as the strong style, but like if you go all the New York comics, they focus more on crowd work because New York tourists and all that. Hey, where are you from? Like, what do you do? But like other places like comics visiting New York, like think it's kind of strange. Like, why does this guy always come up and try to talk to the crowd?
Yeah.
But
I do. It is a good way to no, but then also got so popular because of TikTok and stuff.
TikTok,
yeah, because now everyone's uploading crowd work clips, even me.
Oh, I'm not doing it on this. Well, actually, no, I have a crowd work clip on my YouTube channel, so I can say that. But I want to focus more on the material.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, that's what it is. I want to be sharper.
Yeah.
At my jokes that I wrote.
Yeah.
I don't want to be just hey, where are you from? Oh, Boston? Boo. I don't want that.
Because what's more important, I think, is actually having like a tight, like they say, a tight 5 or tight 7 or tight 10.
Yeah.
And just so you could just do consistent jokes and punchlines from beginning to end, not just rely too much on the crowd.
Exactly.
The crowd to make you funnier.
Yeah, because then what happens when, people don't respond to the crowd work? You gotta dive into your jokes and you don't have any.
What do you think about bombing? How do you feel when you bomb?
I don't care about it anymore.
You don't care?
Yeah, it used to bother me a lot. There was one time when I was living in Chicago.
Yeah.
There's a bar, the really famous bar called Cole's.
Okay.
That I lived like 5 minutes from, and I went there every week. And you could call it the most hipster bar that you've been to. And I don't know, just for a solid month and a half, maybe 2 months, just bombing the whole 2 months at every open mic. And it was on a Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, I would have pretty solid ones.
Yeah.
Tuesday was Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun. So then I'll be on like a high on Wednesday. I'll be like, I got this. I can take this home. But then no, I get shat on. Yeah. And then so my confidence goes down. And on Thursday, we have a really fun one where all the comics come to at Shuba's. And that's really fun, but you want to do good at that one because it's all the comics there. But now my confidence is at a negative because of what happened on Wednesday. And so I stopped going to that one for a while just because I don't know. Maybe I needed a reset.
Yeah,
Maybe I
like
was just thinking too hard.
what do you think caused like the bombing? Was it the material wasn't strong enough or the crowd was awful?
I don't want to just say it was one or the other because
Yeah,
it's definitely both.
it's a combination.
Yeah, combination.
Yeah.
My jokes aren't always the best.
Like, if they
Rarely.
if the crowd if you're not feeling your strongest and the crowd can see your weak point and
Yeah, but that crowd was also pretty snobby in my
yeah.
opinion. They're really like I don't want to say woke people, but they're
Hmm.
pretty sensitive in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, but bombing, yeah, it's part of it. I once you embrace bombing,
Yeah.
it's not really bombing
Yeah.
anymore. You're just oh they didn't laugh.
Yeah.
They're the ones their loss.
Yeah. Have you ever had like like a bad heckler too? Like so for me, I was
Yeah.
last year I was doing a show and I was doing a joke and it was a comparison and it was just like kind of comparing surprise,
Yeah.
the quality. I was like trying to say how bad the surprise was, but then the joke I said was like comparing it to Love on the Spectrum.
Okay.
And someone goes, "Oh no, no, you didn't just do that."
Oh
Like,
really?
and like I had to go like, "What?" It was like on you're like like on how dare you do a joke on that sublist? You're very ableist. I'm like on
Oh, I don't know where people get the balls to do
yeah.
that.
And then my first one that I did, like the guy that was closing, he made a joke about like having sex and like he like and having his wife call him daddy,
Yeah.
and girl went, "No, I don't like that. That's wrong." And then it took like she just stormed out, and like I talked to her husband, and apparently there was like some like she had like a shady childhood and all that stuff,
Oh,
and so there was something.
she did it.
She brought her.
She had sex with her dad.
I don't know, or maybe an uncle touched her or something like that. Like she
99% true.
yeah. So
Surprise.
that triggered her. Yeah. So yeah, have you ever triggered someone or seen someone
No,
triggered?
I've never really triggered anyone, but I've had drunk people in the crowd just
Yeah.
constantly. One time though, which really threw me off because this woman was in the front row and kind of whispering,
Mm-hmm.
but talking to herself, but
Yeah.
also it really didn't seem like she was talking to herself. It
Yeah.
kind of seemed like she was reacting to what I was saying.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you hear someone reacting, you want to be like, "Oh yeah, yeah. Are
Yeah.
do you agree with me?"
Yeah.
But then every time I directed my questions at her, she would just completely be quiet,
Yeah.
right? And then once I started getting back to my jokes, she'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So yeah, that threw me off one time, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, "Okay,
Mm.
uh,
I think that
security."
maybe that yeah, that's when you kind of got to get into the crowd work, kind of like not let them knock you off your pedestal.
Yeah.
You actually have to deal with it, and like sometimes just saying "shut the fuck up."
My go-to is that. My go-to is just I indulge in them, right? I'll
Right.
be like, "Oh yeah, what do you want to talk about?"
Yeah.
And then I if they're going on for too long, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, you're running my time, man.
Yeah,
Shut up."
like I started doing comedy here, yeah, like I said in 2019, but before I came to Korea, I did it like for a year and a half in Toronto.
Yeah.
And like I even like did some courses, and one of the courses that my stand-up teacher said was like he's like, "Okay, your homework is basically you have to think of like a comeback
Yeah.
someone for a heckle or someone
Yeah.
so like yeah, to like shut some like you that it and then you get that and then you have if that's prepared,
Yeah.
you just have that in case someone is going to attack
What's
you.
your go-to?
Yeah, I can't. I should write more. I haven't done it. I haven't done it, but yeah, it's like but
Mine's always yeah, shut the fuck up, or I do the same thing that they said,
Yeah.
and then I'll say your mom,
Yeah,
and then I'll just go,
yeah.
"Oh, all right."
yeah, maybe I might. I think I have like a list of them, but I haven't looked at that in one of my books. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know Honey Boo Boo came to Korea. Maybe something like that.
Oh,
if it's like
okay, I
if
see
it's
what
like
you're
if
saying.
it's like if it's a chick or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, I try to make it as juvenile as possible,
Yeah.
just to, yeah, package it as
Yeah.
childish as what they just
Yeah.
did, right? I'm very smart like that.
Oh, you are? Okay. Well, now like we've talked on a lot of stuff. Do you have any questions for me? Well, you know about like the comment. So, I mean, I guess yeah, we're getting really like going. Like what is I guess your end goal? Like where do you see yourself in a year or
Man,
2 years?
Okay. Actual goal within a year.
Yeah.
I would love to make either the 경리단 show more frequent,
Yeah.
maybe once every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
or make themed shows
Right.
like a not a roast. I don't really like a
Yeah.
roast, but like swap joke swapping. Like I would love
Yeah.
to have two people go up write jokes for the other person.
Yeah.
That seems really fun.
Yeah, yeah. The first show I did produce here, because I talked about like there's different styles, and like I wanted try to have like comics at least have some type of similarity. So I called it the Piante show,
Okay.
the pervert show.
Yeah.
So just basic. So everyone's at least doing like kind of like vulgar jokes and
Yeah.
like yeah maybe like sex or underwear and all that stuff, blowjobs,
Yeah.
blah blah. So at least everyone's kind of on the same theme. So I can't think of, I want to do another theme, but I think I want to get outside Seoul.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Like Busan?
Maybe Busan. But I've tried to even like, I've reached out to,
Renji?
no. Even there's like the Korean Comedy Club in Jongno,
Oh okay.
but they're not, I don't,
Are they Korean only?
they were Korean, yeah, they're Korean only, but like they did an English show last year.
Yeah.
And I was like in June I believe, and it was like very successful. But then they had Wayne Shin, which is like I think it's
Never heard of
It's Wayne something. It's Shin. It's one of the Korean names.
Oh okay.
Okay, Wayne
One of
something.
them. Yeah, one of them.
One of them. And then they had Danny Cho, which is like a Korean comic
Yeah, from LA.
from LA that did it, and then he came here. Now he just does it.
In Korean.
He does it in Korean, but he did it in stand up. He did a lot of like stock jokes, like like throwing a hot dog down a hallway, like Korean penises,
Yeah.
like small. But instead of saying hot dog down a hallway, he just grabbed the stool. It's like going like put like a microphone in this stool, and go. "Du-du-du-du-du-du-du," and
Oh, okay.
so it wasn't new material. And then but anyways, yeah, but the show was very successful. So I go, hey, are you guys thinking about doing another English show? He's like, nah, not in the near future. But for them, it's just, that is basic. I think they have just it's like 6 comics, and they rotate. There's like 4 of them each day, and they just like rotate through. But it's more
Yeah.
just. But he's traveling around, but doing his own like Korean.
Yeah, his
tour.
tour thing. Yeah, I think he's been doing it for like the past 2 years or something.
Yeah,
I wish I knew him.
yeah.
I wish, yeah, he was an acquaintance, but
I think I just reached out on Facebook, and I'd like talked to him. Like he knew Chris, so he like shook Chris's hand.
yeah,
But I think like when he first came, he did one of the English shows,
yeah,
and I think that he had a negative opinion about it, so he doesn't really want to work with
that
it.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I think what he's doing with the Korean scene is
Mm-hmm.
pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
pretty admirable.
Yeah.
Why did you start doing comedy?
Like I'm just like a goofy person, so like I've always been making people laugh, and like even like my father is like kind of he's like the idiot in the in his family too,
Yeah.
like the town idiot,
He's-
and like I think I inherited that gene. Like I remember like when I was a child, like going to like a family picnic, and my uncle's just like going, hey, come over here.
Yeah.
You're like on, you see your father, he's about to do something stupid.
Yeah.
And like he's like, oh, hi there. And he's like trying to walk around the pool,
Yeah.
and he trips over a chair and falls in the pool.
Yeah.
And like going, what the hell? He's like going, yeah, your father's always been like that.
Yeah.
And I think you're that way too.
Well, then what was the thing that made you go like, oh, I gotta do this?
Well, I think my humor actually comes because I was like most people, like I was bullied as a kid,
Yeah.
and like I used it to like kind of like to protect myself, but then
mechanism.
yeah, defense mechanism, but also like when I tried to get people on my side, like just the humor helped me like break down the barriers that might happen. Like going, okay, I'm not the tallest or the most handsome, but
Yeah.
I can do the humor because my brother is like 6'6", so
Jeez.
I'm short,
6'6"?
and then I barely got out of like 5'8". So
Are your parents tall?
my parents are the same size as me, but my brother like has like an ogre gene because all his kids are now like giant. My like his 14-year-old is 6'5" now, and then his youngest son is probably going to be like Shaquille O'Neal size, like
Jeez.
just a wrestler. I'm just gonna try to push him into wrestling or strongman competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I even do a joke because when I was home, I had to babysit him, and I said, "You're watching too much TV," and I turned off the TV, and he got up, and he went like this, and he flinched,
Wow.
and I flinched. I'm like, you know how sad it is when an 8-year-old it makes you flinch.
Yeah, man. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That means he does that at home, man.
Well, yeah. Well, it's anyway. He has a bad temper. I think he might be close to going to military school,
Jeez.
but yeah.
Why'd you move to Korea?
Oh, why did I move to Korea? It's my sister was here. She
So
was a
it's you,
teacher.
your brother, your sister, three of you guys?
Yeah, I have an older brother and a younger sister, but my sister was teaching here because she wanted to be a teacher, and she came after she graduated uni. She came for teaching experience so she
Yeah.
could get a job back home. Their
Yeah.
schools weren't hiring students right out of college. So she came here and she said, and I hated my job. She said, I can give you a job. And then simultaneously, I had a Korean girlfriend whose student visa was expiring.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had a sister
Look at
saying,
you.
"Hey, if you want to come, I could give you work." And then my girlfriend saying, "Hey, if you come, we don't have to break up."
Hell yeah.
That's what basically
How long did that relationship go on for?
10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Don't clap in the mic.
Are you guys not together anymore though?
No, we're not together anymore. But yeah, don't clap in the mic because it blows out the sound.
All right, sorry, Mike.
It's all right. Yeah. But yeah, so that's me. But I feel like I'm.
But then you stayed.
Yeah, I stayed. I did the English teaching for 10 years, and then I wasn't ready to go back. So then that's when I went into studying Korean, trying to find other work, but I always had a passion for performing. So that's why now I'm an actor. And I'm kind of like, they cast me as kind of like the Jack Black style. I'm like,
Oh yeah?
yeah.
Are you embracing that role? Or are you getting way too typecasted now?
I don't know. I'm not getting typecasted, but it's more like physical, so I'm used for nonverbal, physical nonverbal, and I want to do more of the speaking roles.
Yeah.
But the problem that's a different problem I find with acting too.
Yeah.
Because the roles that are written, they're very subjective, or the Korean story is very objective. So a foreigner is either
It's one dimensional.
it's one dimensional. It's either a U.S. soldier, a government official,
Yeah.
or a gang, a mobster,
A mobster.
a Russian mobster, and there's no really dynamic roles, and even there'll be castings for fathers,
Yeah.
and they just give those roles actually to the handsome strong jawline and full head of hair. I'm going, I look like everyone's father.
You do look like
I look like everyone's father.
Yeah, you do.
Why are you hiring all these European skinny guys? They don't look like their father. That guy's had plastic surgery. No, show me.
Seriously.
Show me an American guy that's had Botox
Seriously.
and is supposed to be this common man, the common man. So
What do you like about how long have you been in Korea for now?
now 16 years.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
What do you like about Korea, and then what do you wish could
I'm
bring from
I'm feeling now coming to the end of it.
Wow.
Because I really my parents are getting old, so I'd rather be closer to them.
Yeah.
As well as I feel like I've hit the plateau. There's not much happening.
I see.
Just what I said, the roles that
Yeah.
I'm not gonna there's not gonna be a big role for me for.
I've heard that for foreigners who teach here as well.
Yeah.
The first 2 years are maybe really exciting, and then
Yeah.
you reach that glass ceiling, and
Yeah.
then now you really don't really get
Yeah,
picked
yeah.
anything
For
bigger.
English people that come teaching English, yeah, You start off at an English academy,
They reach that
then you
cap
go
really
to
fast.
you go to a school, then maybe you teach adults,
And then you're done.
and then you might get a university job,
Yeah.
and that's the best job you're probably going to get because you get a lot of holidays. You get
Yeah.
but the pay with all these little positions is relatively the same, but the university English job, at least you get 8 weeks of holiday a
Yeah.
year. So that's the high point of that.
Do you think you're gonna go back soon? Dang.
I think I'm gonna start putting money together and then try to do the American dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, the foreign American dream, the Canadian,
The Canadian American
to
dream.
Asia, and then then goes to America for the American dream.
Where do you want to go? Where do you want to move to?
I'm thinking New York.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I can't drive, so LA is
Oh, fuck that.
that option for me.
Don't drive.
Yeah. So yeah, and I like big city life anyway. So
Yeah.
and everything's too spread out. Looking at LA,
Yeah.
and even that, like some of my actor friends that I'd known here, they went to LA
Mm-hmm.
hoping for to make it big,
And
and they ain't doing that. I do know some people that have they actually did the preparation and they're able to transition, but
Yeah.
they did a lot of they spent like a year working on stuff here and then going there.
yeah.
So I had a voice actor friend
Yeah.
that just recently but she was already had connections in LA.
Ah.
So she was already doing some voice work here and just sending it. But yeah, like she's now like the official spoke the voice clips for the LA Chargers.
Oh,
That's
wow.
vo-
That's
so,
pretty cool.
Yeah, as well as she does like a lot of like character work too.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to get into voice acting.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. I'm horrible at reading. I'm horrible at reading. So what happens here with voice actors is you don't know the script. You show up to the studio and they give you the script.
Oh,
So
you
there's
don't
no
get to
prep.
prepare?
You don't get to
Oh.
prepare. Hardly ever do I get to prepare because everything's very done last moment.
I see.
Yeah. All right, but do you want to plug any of your social media before we go? Your
No, I'm good.
Instagram? You know your Instagram?
Hojippy, Hojippy on Instagram.
Yeah.
I need like 2 more followers and I'm at 1,000. So
Oh wow. Okay. So maybe you guys could be his 1,000. You could break his
Big
1,000
milestone.
cherry.
yeah.
Yeah.
My 1,000 share.
Yeah. You can also follow us together on Stand Up Seoul, the Instagram and
Yes.
Facebook. And my Instagram is Comedy Jeffy Geoffy. But thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.